Hi students, welcome back. Let us continue the lesson. Let us study about radicals. What is a radicals? Last year already you studied it. Let us revise it. What is a radical? A radical is an atom or group of atoms of the same or different elements that behaves as a single unit with a positive or negative charge. A radical is an atom or group of atoms of the same or different elements that behaves as a single unit with a positive or negative charge. Let me explain it. The molecule of a compound is usually made up of two parts, and these parts are separately known as radicals. For example, let us consider a molecule of sodium chloride. It has two parts, sodium and chloride. So, sodium is one radical and chloride is the other radical. Similarly, if it is magnesium carbonate, it has also two parts. Magnesium is one radical and carbonate is another radical. A radical is called a simple radical when it is an atom only. For example, Na plus, Mg2 plus, Ca2 plus, K plus, K plus, then Zn2 plus, etc. So, we call a radical as a simple radical when it is an atom only. Na plus only sodium atom, Mg2 plus only magnesium atom. We have compound radical also. It is known as a compound radical when the radical is made up of group of two or more different atoms. Example is sulfate radical. Sulfate radical, it is SO4 2 minus. You can see in sulfate radical there are one atom of sulfur and four atoms of oxygen. They join together, combine together, but behave as a single unit in a compound. Sulfate together in a behave as a single group in a compound. We have another example, carbonate. Carbonate is represented as CO3 2 minus, formed of one carbon atom and three oxygen atoms. We have ammonium radical, NH4 plus, one nitrogen and four hydrogen. Phosphate radical, PO4 3 minus. All these are examples of compound radical because they are made up of group of two or more different atoms. Let us consider this equation. KOH plus HCl gives KCl plus H2O. What type of reaction is this? Do you have any idea? KOH, that is an alkali, HCl, it is an acid. When they react together, you will get KCl, that is a salt, potassium chloride and water. This type of reaction is known as neutralization reaction. Last year you studied it. What is a neutralization reaction? A reaction in which an acid reacts with an alkali or a base to form salt and water. That type of reaction is known as neutralization reaction. Now in the formation of potassium chloride, the potassium radical has been contributed by the base potassium hydroxide and is therefore called basic radical, while the chloride radical has been contributed by hydrochloric acid and is therefore termed as acid radical. So in the salt potassium chloride we have two radicals. The first one is potassium radical, that is derived from a base KOH. You can see here potassium is the basic radical and chloride is the acid radical. So here in the formation of potassium chloride, potassium is derived from base KOH and chloride is derived from the acid HCl. Therefore, potassium which is derived from the base KOH, we call it as a basic radical. And the chloride radical which is derived from acid HCl, that is known as an acid radical or acidic radical. So, radical derived from a base is called basic radical, and a radical derived from an acid, it is called an acidic radical. Let us consider another example, ammonium carbonate. The formula is written here, NH4 twice CO3, that is ammonium carbonate. Can you say the basic radical and acidic radical? So, basic radical is NH4 plus and acid radical is CO3 2 minus. So, remember the radical which is derived from a base. You may be remembering about base or alkali. Examples of alkalis are sodium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, and we have bases like metal oxides are called bases, magnesium oxide, zinc oxide, calcium oxide, etc. So, radical derived from these bases are known as basic radical, and the radical derived from an acid, that is known as an acidic radical. So, in the given example of ammonium carbonate, we have basic radical NH4 plus. Do you know the name of that radical? It is known as ammonium. Ammonium. And the acid radical is CO3 2 minus, which is known as carbonate radical. Hi students, welcome back. Let us continue the lesson. Today, here are some important formulae, chemical name and formulae are given. This you have to go through. Potassium dichromate K2Cr2O7, then potassium hydrogen sulfate, it is KHSO4, then sodium zincate Na2ZnO2, silver chloride AgCl, calcium sulfate CaSO4, ammonium nitrate NH4NO3, manganese sulfate MnSO4, magnesium nitride Mg3N2, lead sulfate PbSO4, aluminum oxide Al2O3. In your textbook, many more compounds and formulae are given. Just to go through that, it's not easy to study all the chemical name and formulae, but some of the chemical name and formulae you have to study. There is no shortcut to study the formulae. You have to write and study the formulae. And while writing the formulae, I already told you in a compound elements are in a fixed ratio. So if there is any error in writing the number of atoms, that formula will be wrong. Now here in this formula you can, well, if you go through this formula you can see that it contains acid radical as well as basic radical. If it is the silver chloride AgCl, then you can see Ag, silver is the basic radical and Cl is the acidic radical. And if it is a NH4NO3 ammonium nitrate, you can see that ammonium, that is NH4, that is the basic radical, and NO3, it is the acidic radical because it is derived from nitric acid and it is derived from an acid. Therefore NO3 is the acidic radical, NH4 is the basic radical. Now radical has its own combining power. Okay, radical has its own combining power, and a list of radical, basic radical as well as acidic radicals and their valency is given in your textbook in table 1.4 and 1.5. Please go through these tables and see the valency of radicals. We have studied the formulae of some compounds. Now let us see how can we write the formulae of these compounds. We use a method known as crisscross method for writing the formulae of a compound. What are the steps involved in writing the formulae of a compound by crisscross method? Let us see an example of aluminium oxide. Aluminium oxide, the correct formula, we know it is Al2O3. Let us see how it is derived. In crisscross method, there are 3 steps. Step 1, what you have to do? First, you have to write the symbols of the elements with valency present in that compound. So here we know aluminium oxide is the compound given to us. In aluminium oxide, the elements present are, what are the elements present in aluminium oxide? Aluminium and oxygen, isn't it? Then first step, what we are doing? We are writing the symbol of these elements and their valencies are written as superscript. Okay, valencies are written as superscript. That is, we are writing the valency of each atom on top of its symbol. That is called a superscript. No need to write the sign of the radicals. We have studied the radicals with the positive or a negative sign. No need to consider here. The sign is not a matter. So we are writing Al3O2. Valency of aluminium is 3 and the valency of oxygen is 2. The valency of elements also given in your textbook that you have to already last year you studied some of the elements and their valency. So just to go through that table and you should study the valency of some common elements like hydrogen, oxygen, aluminium, sodium, hydrogen, nitrogen, etc. Okay. So here first step is done. It is done. First step, what you have to do? Write the symbols with the valency. And remember, valency is written as superscript. That is valency of each atom on top of its symbol. Then in the second step, what you have to do? Exchange the valency. Exchange of valency. That is the second step. How it is done? Valency of aluminium, that is 3, is given to oxygen and the valency of oxygen 2, it is given to aluminium. Then it becomes what? Al2O3. This in the third step we are writing in the second step itself what we are doing? We are exchanging the valency, and after exchanging, the valency is written as subscript. Okay, after exchanging, the valency is written as subscript. Okay, and if the valency numbers, if we have same valency, for example, if it is Al2O2, suppose it is Al2O2, we can cut these two, cancel these two, then 2 cancel, then it becomes ALO. Okay, but here we cannot cut, we cannot simplify because it is a 2 and 3, Al2O3. So exchange the valency. After exchanging, what you have to do? Write the valency as subscript. Then it becomes Al2O3. That is the formula of aluminium oxide, Al2O3. Okay, so first step what we have to do, you should write the symbols with valency, and remember valency should be written as superscript. Second step, exchange the valency. After exchanging the valency, here the valency of aluminium 3, that is given to oxygen. After exchanging, you should write it as subscript. Then the valency of oxygen 2, that is given to aluminium, it's written as Al2. So after exchanging the valency, write it as subscript. Then it becomes Al2O3. And that becomes the formula. Finally, we are getting the formula as Al2O3. And if the numbers are same, if the valency of both the elements or both the radicals are same, you can cancel it and you can simplify it. Okay. Gauss method.